Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Andersen. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the core. The core has many definitions, right? We can think about it metaphysically, physically, psychologically. We can think about, I think about like the core of an apple, right? So core, I often say, is just another four-letter word. And it is something that's thrown around a lot in movement contexts. So today I'm going to take you through just a short theory and practice of how we think about core more from a Pilates perspective, which is the door that I come in the most often. So when we think about the core, what the region of the body often we refer to or think of is kind of here, right? So we think of key words that come up often when I ask people are like abdominal muscles or pelvis or, something thrown around a lot is transverse abdominis. So I want to help you understand that when we're talking about the core in Pilates and in kinesiology, often what we're talking about is the depth, the deepest layer of your tissue. So in terms of muscles that activate in support of your torso and therefore your whole being, because in essence, the spine is the core of you, right? We have your transversus abdominis, which is a muscle that wraps all the way around the torso. It is a muscle that is a stabilizer. It actually doesn't move you. It supports you in movement. Then we have the pelvic floor, which pubic bone, sit bone, tailbone. There's kind of a diamond-like shape. It's kind of a hammock that is contractile and supports organs and supports all sorts of other stuff inside of you. And then the diaphragm, which sits on top of what's inside of your rib cage. So from about, low sternum across and drapes down kind of like a parachute or an umbrella inside of your rib cage. Okay, and it's also contractile. It moves in relationship with the lungs and with the pelvic floor and transverse abdominis. And then up the back of your body, up the back of your spine, I think about it like the Chevron logo, Chevron, the gas station, that goes all the way up your spine. There's these little teeny muscles called the multifidi or multifidus. And they also are contractile and support, just like the diaphragm, just like the pelvic floor, just like the transverse abdominis, but they don't necessarily move you. They support you in movement. So the larger muscles, the muscles that are a little bit more superficial than that deep core layer, are things like internal obliques, external obliques, rectus abdominis, those are abdominal muscles, your lats, latissimus dorsi, things like your glutes, your adductors. All of these muscles have some sort of relationship with your pelvis or the big sheaths of fascia in your lower back, your thoracolumbar fascia, sometimes even wrapping around to your shoulder, sometimes into your hips, deep psoas muscles, etc. I could bore you with anatomy, but instead I would just like to help you move and understand a little bit about the relationship of the muscles that are deepest to the ones that also support you and move you that are a little bit more superficial or a little bit closer to your skin. Okay, so the props we're going to move with today, if you have a squishy Pilates ball, go get it. You can also often substitute some of what we're going to do, or most of all what we're going to do with a foam roller if it's not too hard. In the yoga studio here, I use a blanket and I make what I call a nugget, which is where I fold it the longest way, and then I fold it again, and I fold it in half from there. And then from there, I roll it up. So if that's what you have available, a blanket, and I would go ahead and make that nugget. I also have 2 blocks here. And then I have a TheraBand and a circle band. And I'm not sure that we're going to use both of them today. We'll see, but you will want some sort of resistance band if that's available to you. Okay? So the first thing that I'm actually going to have you do, prop free, is lie down on your back. If that is not available to you, if that's painful to you, you can go ahead and lie on your front for the first part of this. So I encourage you first to lengthen your legs out, almost like you're in Shavasana. The back of your head is down, ribs are heavy, pelvis is down. And you might notice the parts of your spine that curve away from the floor, which in this relationship with the floor are likely the back of your neck and your low back. And take a few deep breaths, just tuning into the expansion that happens when you inhale, moving your skin into your clothing. And then the softening that's possible as you exhale. And if you're someone who feels like you can't be on the center of the back of your head, if there's too much tension in your neck or your upper back, please put something underneath your head, like a small pillow or maybe a folded blanket. If you would place your hands, make a V or a triangle with your hands. Place your palms near your hip bones, your fingers pointing towards your pubic bone, and maybe your thumbs go across the front of your pelvis. Take an inhale into your hands and feel the expansion of your pelvic floor. And as you exhale, all the tissue that's underneath your palms, I want you to think about drawing it in towards your thumbs and back towards the floor. And inhale and allow that to release. And exhale, your sits bones have a little life in your basement. The tissue behind your palms tries to pull towards your thumbs, towards the middle of you. And inhale, release. And maybe you can think about, as it pulls towards the middle of you, it also starts to go up an elevator towards your belly button. And inhale, release that. And exhale one more time. Where your hands are pulls together towards the middle and up towards your belly button. And inhale, release. Now, what I want you to do here is keep your hands where they are, or you can put your fingertips on your hip bones. You might feel them on the front of your pelvis. Either's fine. Stand one foot on the floor, knee pointing towards the ceiling, and then the other foot too, and make sure that your pelvis is in the same position as it was when your legs were long. So often we have a tendency when we bend our knees to then roll into our lower back or lift our pubic bone higher than our hip bones. I want you to see if you can maintain that same place you were. So if you need to try again, try again. And then here, take an inhale, and as you exhale, once again, the tissue underneath your palms in the base of your pelvis draws in towards the midline and slightly up towards your belly button. And then you inhale and release. And then you exhale and engage. Hold it with a breath into your armpits. Exhale, deepen the engagement of your deep core. Inhale into your armpits. Exhale, deep core. Your bones are still in your pelvis. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Good, take one of your blocks, please. Place it either the second width or the narrowest width. between your knees, maybe a little closer to your inner thighs. It kind of depends on the shape of your legs. And then put your fingertips right on the bony knobs of your hip bones. From there, I want you to move in like 1 inch, so you kind of feel yourself get on soft tissue instead of on the bone. Inhale here, and as you exhale, think about igniting the base of your pelvis, hugging the block, and you want to feel the tissue right underneath your fingertips jump up into your fingertips as you finish your exhale. And when you inhale, I want you to release that engagement most of the way. And as you exhale, you hug the block. Feel that tissue right underneath your fingertips jump up into your fingertips. Inhale and release. Don't worry, we're about to get moving. Exhale, hug. Inhale, release. Noticing the connection of the lower body, pelvic floor, deep core. Good. And then from here, put your hands down by your sides. Remember that feeling. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, hug the block. Find that same engagement as though your fingertips are still there. And now start to lengthen your lower back into the ground by engaging the tissue on the front of your torso and hugging into the block. When you run out of breath, just take another breath into your armpits. And then you reach your pubic bone away from your belly button on the front, and you go back to where you started, in the middle of your sacrum. And then you hug the block and you lengthen the lower back towards the floor. Eventually your pelvis will tip. It will rock towards your face slightly. And then you inhale and you reach back to where you started. And you exhale and you hug the block and you allow that deep core to support you, and then you start to use the abdominal muscles to mobilize your pelvis. And you inhale and you reach back long. Last time with this. Hug the block, engage deep, then take it on a ride. Make sure you're not doing that by pushing into your feet. That's a different thing. We'll do that probably later. Inhale, return. Good. From here, grab both of your blocks, set them down by your sides, like shoe boxes. We'll use them in a moment. You can just rest your hands on them for now. Now, before we take go too much faster or more rigorous here, I want you to go ahead and lift one leg to tabletop. Set it back down. The new leg to tabletop. Set it back down. Do that one more time. Find a way to use your breath that supports your movement. You still have a long spine. Fingertips to hip bones, make sure they're staying still. You might feel one of them drop as you lift your leg or your pelvis move. I want you to see if you can find that engagement in your deep core that we just spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out. If you're on your back, now you have to flip over to your front. Hands are on the blocks. Lift one leg to that tabletop. Lift the other leg too. Make sure your low back is still away from the mat. We have not rolled into our low back. Push your palms down into the blocks. Let your bottom ribs sink into the floor. Take a breath. Set one foot down, set the other foot down. So now we're starting to integrate the deep core with the muscles that extend out into all the extremities. Lift one leg, lift the other leg. You still don't have your low back in the floor. Push your hands into the blocks. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, blow one leg away into a toe tap. Inhale, draw it back. The position of your head is unchanged. The position of your ribs are unchanged. The position of your pelvis is unchanged. You're using your palms and your shoulder blades as anchors. You're using your legs to mobilize. That's the moving thing. You're pulling on that pelvis, but you're asking your deep core to keep you organized through the middle. Last one. Set one foot down, set the other foot down, release your hands, take a breath. Lift one leg up, lift the new leg up. Take those palms, put them on your thighs. If you feel your hip flexors a lot, bend your knees all the way. That's a choice. From here, elbows hug into sides. Take an inhale, keeping the curve in the low back away from the floor. Blow out your air, push your hands into your thighs and pull your thighs into your hands. Inhale, release the resistance. Inhale, thighs towards face, palms push away. Nothing's moving, it's inside your body. Again, your ribs are heavy, your head is heavy, and your low back is still not pushing into the floor. That's coming soon. Good, inhale, let it go. Exhale, hands to thighs. Keep your pelvis where it is, your low back where it is. Tuck your chin. Start to lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. Crown of head all the way up. Pelvis has not moved. Hands are pushing forward. Thighs are pulling towards your face. Set everything back down. And again, press, curl, lift. And come back down. One more time. Press, curl, lift. Stay up. Interlace your fingers to the webbing. Place them behind your head. Hold your head up here. That's your abdominals working. That's other stuff working in your shoulders. Maybe you should take my shoulder class. You might feel differently about this once you get there. Push your elbows wide up the diagonals. Toe tap one leg down. Pull it up. The new leg down. Pull it up. One leg down. 3 sets. If your eyes are somewhere near your pelvis, you might see that it's totally integrated. It's not rocking and rolling. Good, set one leg down, set the other leg down, set your head down. Take a big breath in. Good, so last idea here, hands back on the blocks. Lift one leg to tabletop, the new leg to tabletop. If you're, again, really feeling your hip flexors, bend your knees all the way, or just check in where your knees, are they too far away from you, too close to you? Pause there. Gentle press into your hands. Inhale here, exhale, find deep core. Good, and then from here, just like you did with your feet on the ground, keep your knees still, start to lengthen your lower back into the ground so your spine lengthens down to the floor and eventually your pelvis moves, but your knees are completely still. And then you lengthen back. That's tough. So if you don't know if you're doing it, put your hands on your knees and go ahead and roll your tail under, roll your pelvis under by lengthening your lower back, and your hands will tell you if your knees are moving. One more time. Good. Keep your one hand on your knee. Put the other hand behind your head. The hand that's behind your head, lengthen that leg out to 45 degrees. Lengthen your lower back into the floor. Push your thigh and hand together. Curl up your head, neck, and shoulders. And down. 2 more, up and down. Last one, up and down, new side. Hand to thigh, push in, hand behind head. Leg goes long. Hug elbow in, curl up and down. 2 more, 2 and down. Last one. Everything comes down, set your legs down, put your hands on your blocks. Push into your feet. They're about hip distance apart. You might measure that with your fists or by turning one foot in and touching your big toe to your inner heel. Keeping your pelvis where it was when we started class. Push into your feet like your pelvis goes right up an elevator. Lift up towards hip extension or towards a bridge-like position. Pinky fingers root, shoulders roll open. This is not a back bend, it's a hip extension. Let your sits bones leave the back of your thighs immediately and set yourself back down where you started. So now when we're thinking about core, we're starting to integrate our hips, our hip extensors, the muscles in the back of our legs, like our glutes, our hamstrings. So we can come from multiple angles. The anchor of the hands is helping find back muscles, mid-back, arm muscles, shoulders. You can really feel how it all supports you. So the hip lift up and down without the roll is really asking the deep stabilizers that I introduced at the beginning of class to support you the whole time. And the next time you're up, stay up, and then I want you to roll down. Roll like a snake through your spine. Pause at the bottom, take a breath, and then roll up. Remember that we start with that deep core engagement, we lengthen the lower back, and now the feet press to take you on a ride up. And the feet press as you take an articulate ride down with your breath. And the feet press as you come up this last time, knees reaching past your toes, hands pushing down. And then you roll down. Grab the blocks with your hands, stand them towards the ceiling. Last thing before we get you up here. Legs to tabletop. Low back is away from the floor, so you're in that pelvis position we started with, your legs long. We've just hinged at your hips. Push into your hands, push the blocks to the ceiling. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears and coming around the sides of your body. Tuck your chin, stretch the skin in the back of your neck, curl up your head, neck, and shoulders. Push those blocks to the ceiling. This is abdominal work. Shoulder work. Lengthen your legs out to 45 degrees. Keep them there. Your arms go over your head so you're making a scooped position, a V, and then you pull back. Keep your pelvis rooted. Keep your ribs rooted. Last one. Good, set one foot down, set the other foot down, set your head, neck, and shoulders down. Lengthen your legs out long. Push the blocks up. Curl your head up. Swizzle your hands around like they're serving trays forward now. And try to roll yourself all the way up. You might not be able to get up. That's okay. That's really difficult. Bend your elbows, drop your head. Come back up to seated. Blocks are forward. Heels dig down into the ground. Let the muscles right around your sits bones hug into them. And then again, find that deep engagement to initiate. Roll your pelvis under. Your eyes travel up. The blocks travel up. You go up, up, up. As you go down, they'll swizzle around. They'll reach around and over your head. Big breath in. The blocks come to the ceiling. Then they swizzle around. You roll yourself up. You have one after this. Elbows bend. Draw yourself up. And you roll yourself down. Everything goes up as you go down. And you come up last time. Good job, everyone. Set your blocks off to the side. So from here, I want to go ahead and do a little on your hands and knees. Let's do the circle band around your, just above your knees. If you don't have a circle band, that's totally fine. You can either do this all without it, or you can take your longer band and just tie it in a loop with about a foot diameter. Come onto your hands and knees. If you know how to measure, measure yourself. One strategy is to spiral your middle fingers in, and then on your bottom of your thumb knuckles, spin open. Get your knees right underneath your hips. In the shoulder class, we worked a lot on the movements of the actual shoulder blades. And here, just for a moment to get you into your core, I want you to draw your shoulder blades together and apart. This is not a movement that would make you burn. This is a joint movement. I want you to feel joint. And then push your shoulder blades all the way wide, curl like a cat, and draw your shoulders to your ears. Stay there. Now, keeping your cat rounded position, I want you to pull your shoulders away from your ears, but keep them wide. This is where I want you to feel like you go when you go to cat. Come through the middle, look forward, tail up, eyes forward. And then you curl. You come through the middle. Crown of head points forward, pelvic floor points backwards. In your mind, this is going to teach you a lot about your deep core. I want you to push into your right hand and your left knee, or left shin and top of foot. And then release that. And then the left hand and the right knee. And what you're trying to do here is have so much ignite inside of you, but very little change on the outside, indicating the integration of that deep layer with the stuff that will move you around in space. The next time you have your right hand and left knee pushing, keep pushing. Reach your left arm forward. Notice if you lost the right shoulder. Maybe imagine a line between your right hand and left knee and pull on that diagonal towards the middle. Did you lose your breath? Come back with that hand. Anchor left hand, right knee. Now maybe before we lift, we imagine the base of your left thumb and your inner right knee pulling together down that diagonal, and then you hover. And you reach that arm. Sides of your neck are long. Push that right shoulder blade into the ribs by pulling the ribs up into the shoulder blade. Set your hand down, go back to the first side. You ground first. Then you reach. I know there's a band on your leg. Keep yourself growing out of that armpit. Reach your right leg back. Come back. The new side. Anchor first. Arm, leg. Come back. Hands down. Tuck your toes. Now, I want you to keep your hip crease deep, your sits bones wide, and hover your knees. Your gaze is forward of your hands about a foot. Pull out into the band, draw back in. Pull out into the band, draw back in. Set your knees down. Take a breath. Exhale, hands press, shoulder blades widen, spine lengthens, knees hover. Breathe as you need, as you open and close the band. 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Take a breath. Exhale, hover knees. Open it. 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Child's pose, hips back, arms forward. One more little thing on hands and knees to show core integration. And then we'll do a little bit more abdominal work. We'll see where we go from there. So take one of your blocks, please, and place it on the outside. So if you put it on the outside of one of your legs with the band, your hands go back down. Do the same thing where you ground. So for me, I'm gonna do left hand, right knee, that's where the block is, and I have the band on. And then from here, I'm gonna open my left leg to the left and set it back down. And what I'm trying to do is have one diagonal, that's left hand to right hip, left shoulder to hip, hand to foot, be the thing that supports me so that I can move in my hip joint on the left side, open and close. And if you want a greater challenge, you open your right arm to the right as your leg comes up and down. And you're thinking about integrating the diagonal across the back side of your body. So right shoulder to left hip, one more time. Good, the new side. Stay on the block. Come to your hands. Root into right hand and left knee for me, or the new side for you. And then you start to open. The block is just there to hold you accountable in your deep core and the outer hip. If you want to add your arm, 3, 2, last one, 1. Good, bring yourself down. So I'm gonna have you take the circle band off. We'll end with a big abdominal series into some plank today. So before we do that, I want you to go ahead and come down onto your front, take a block before you go, or if you have a Pilates ball, you'd put that between your ankles. I don't think the blanket's the right thing. You're gonna put the block between your ankles. And this is where you could get your long TheraBand if you have it. If you don't have a long TheraBand, you can grab your circle band, or you can do all of this without the band. We'll use it in just a moment. I'm gonna lay it across. Put your hands underneath your forehead. Go back to the curiosity of the beginning of class. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, hug the block. Inhale, release the hug. Think about when the block was between your knees and you were moving your legs around and marching and stuff earlier. Let the bones of your pelvis sink through the floor. Feel the integration from your feet all the way up to your seat. Hug the block like 20%. Keep hugging. Again, the bones of your pelvis open into the floor. Maybe your pubic bone roots a little bit more. You feel that engagement of the deep tissue in your pelvis. The breath and the pelvic floor are having this dynamic relationship, the diaphragm. Grab your band. My hands are a little wider than shoulder distance. Shoulder blades wrapping around, pinkies down, thumbs up. And then when you're ready, you hover your hands and you set your hands down. My face is just hovering over the ground. It's not a big back bend, but I'm hugging the block, lifting and lowering my arms. And leave it up. If you want to pull apart, you can. You'll feel the integration of the back to the core, the shoulders to the core. Bring your attention to that block still. Last one, stretch the band as much as you want. Look your face forward, lift your breastbone, big breath. Draw yourself down. Good. Push yourself back to child's pose. Bring yourself up. Take your nugget, put it on your mat. We're going to go back to a bunch of the stuff we were doing in the beginning of class, but now we have ourselves propped up and around this kind of bolster or ball. Interlace your fingers, put them behind your head. Palms are on the bones of your head. Thumbs pointing down your neck. Take a big arc over the prop. Take a couple breaths. If it doesn't feel good, it's not in the right place, so make sure that it's high enough. I want it on your ribs as opposed to in your low back. Draw your shoulder blades together. That's not where we want them, so pull them apart. That's where we want them. Drop your chin a little bit, lengthen the back of your neck, push down into the roll and lift your face up. Lift your head up. And then lengthen back down. So this is abdominal work, objectively. What makes it have the potential to also be really strong core work is how you are utilizing your pelvis. So if you can keep your pelvis heavy, unchanged in the bones, it's always changing on the inside, then that tells me that you're using your deep core as an organizing structure. If you're breathing, you're using your deep core as an organizing structure, set of structures. If you're holding your breath, or your pelvis is all over the place, I would say it's probably no longer quote unquote core work, but it's more just abdominal work. Keep your face forward, the crown of your head up. Look towards your pelvis. If you can see your pelvis, great. If you can't, that's fine. Drop your tailbone down and arch your lower back. Like your hip bones are trying to come up and forward. You feel your lower back arch. It might not feel awesome. And then imagine that block was back between your knees. Hug it. Find that deep core engagement you had as you come through middle, and then tuck your tail under. So roll up to the top of your sacrum. And then lengthen. And then curl. And then arch, and your head and your ribs are still, so your abdominals are having to work. Good, find the middle, lift one leg to tabletop, lift the other leg to tabletop. Same thing, keep your knees here, keep your head here, your hands and your shoulders are supporting your head. I want you to try to move your pelvis. It's actually really difficult, and it's not gonna move much. Push your ribs back into the roller or the ball a little bit more to curl forward more. Bring your armpits forward more. Find the middle with your pelvis. Stretch one leg out. Switch. 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 Oding to single leg stretch in Pilates. Keep the shape of one side. Keep that there. Arc back, head, neck, and shoulders. Take a breath. Curl up. Switch your legs, arc back, curl up, switch your legs, arc back, curl up, switch your legs, last one, arc back, curl up and twist, and twist, and twist, and twist, and three, and three, and two, and two, and one, find the middle, hug your knees. Open back. Good. Draw yourself up. Take the roll or the ball or whatever you have. Lie down, put it underneath your pelvis. Hopefully that feels good. Lift your legs up. Last deep core situation, then we're gonna move into planks and we'll be done. So inhale, open nice and wide. My knees are bent. I'm like happy baby, but I kind of poured forward. Put the backs of your hands on the insides of your knees. Yeah, you might need to look up for that one. And then exhale, deep core, like where we started, that kind of attention. Pelvic floor, hip bones draw together and back. Squeeze your legs in, but your arms are trying to open your legs out. And then you inhale and you open and there's resistance. You're creating resistance with your own body. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Last time, inhale, open. Exhale, close. Put one leg to the ceiling, the other one forward, hands down. Switch, scissor. Switch, scissor. Switch, scissor. Switch, scissor. Switch, scissor. Stay strong in your legs. Long in the back of your neck. Stay in the scissor. Circle around, 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 around to switch. And then you go scissor, scissor, switch. We call this helicopter. Scissor, scissor, switch. And scissor, scissor, switch. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good job. Set your feet down, lift your hips up, slide the roll out. Lengthen your legs long. Reach your arms to the ceiling. Roll yourself all the way up. Do what you gotta do to get there. Lengthen up. Good. Take that roll one last time. Place it just behind you. Maybe a handprint back. Hands on your knees, feet on the ground. Pull yourself up. Roll yourself back till your arms are straight. Right there is where I want to feel the roll catch me, so I'm going to snuggle it in. Good. Palms up. Scoot your feet back so you can really feel them. Fingertips up and down and up and down and up and down. Last time, and up. Cross your legs. Come down, plant your hands, step back over that roll, downward facing dog. The roll or the ball is still there. I want you to think about moving from your heels, bend your knees, tap that roll with your knees, look your eyes a little bit forward, and then link them back up. Feel the strength of your feet, tap and lift. And tap and lift, and maybe all that core work you've done makes this feel easier than it usually does. I don't know, that's what I would hope. So from the down dog position, you're gonna hinge from your first fold or from your hips. You're gonna pull yourself forward into a plank. Now, there's so much to inform this plank right now, especially if you did the shoulder class earlier. You have so much to inform. And then push back to down dog. So in the plank, I want you to think about when we started class and you were lying down with your legs straight. That is the pelvis position-ish that I want you to get to. So when you come forward, if your core is organizing you in the middle, if your ribs are over your pelvis, if your shoulders are strong and your legs are strong, your sits bones should meet the backs of your thigh bones. And back. And forward. And back. Stay forward. Put 90% of your weight in your right hand and your left foot. And then your left hand and your right foot. And you can sense the connections keep going side to side all the way through. Good, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Roll yourself up to vertical. And in this vertical position, put your feet underneath your pelvis. See if you can organize. Put your hands on your hip bones, draw them in that little inch. Take a breath in, let everything go. And then exhale, draw in right where your fingertips are. Those hip bones draw towards the middle. and up. Hold a little bit of that tone and take a breath in. Exhale, let it go completely. Hands down by your sides, just feel yourself breathe. I want you to have as much ease as possible. And if you can take the awareness and the effort that you just utilized and tune in to that idea of your diaphragm parachute or dome over the pelvic floor, with the transversus abdominis that wraps all the way around between it, and the muscles in your back that crawl up all the way up your back to support you. As you breathe, can you just sense, if you allow the breath fully, there's automatic support. Last breath together. And great job. You can come back and take this class as many times as you want. If you want to spice it up, you can always add the band more, add weights, you can use different props. But the goal of this was to really help you to try to understand kind of how we can think about the middle of us as a support system. There are many ways to think about it. This is just a handful of ways, brought to you by multiple perspectives. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon on the mat.